For creating the divine environment with your melodious bhajans. Prem Namaste. I am your program director for today. My name is Pandit Maitri Devi Nirmal. A warm and cordial welcome to each one of you. The teachings of the Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita has carried over hundreds of years and is still relevant today. I quote, Krishna did not work for the sake of any one country or any one race. He worked for the welfare of the whole human race. He gave his message to all mankind. Today's yajna will be conducted by the president of the Arya Samaj, Pandit Arti Shen. The following yajnas, please come up and take your seats around the Havan Kund. I call upon Pandit Arti Shen, President of the Arya Samaj, South Africa, and today's officiating priest. Mr. Sanjay Patandil, Treasurer of the Arya Samaj, South Africa, and today's main yajna. Followed by Mr. Akshay Singh, member of the EXCO and volunteer of the Year Foundation. Mrs. S. Batoy, stalwart of Arya Samaj, South Africa. Mrs. Gayatri Ramklas, stalwart of Arya Samaj, South Africa. Pandit Dalip Kumar Harichand Arjun, member of the Vedic Purohit Mandal. Mr. Chandra Prakash Devi Prasad, Registrar of the Veda Niketan. I hand you over to Panditji as we pray to the Almighty to lead us onto a righteous path. You know all our deeds, O splendid one, detach us from the rising tide of sins. We pray intensively with our humble obligations. Over to you, Panditji. Thank you, Pandit Maitriji. Puja Swami Swami Vedananji, Pujya Swami Maitriji, officials of the Arya Samaj South Africa, our revered Yajmans for today, our guests, honored guests from the Aryan Benevolent Home, and other distinguished guests and friends. My prayer namaste to one and all of you. As we sit for Havan today, let us focus on the message of the Gita. Let us focus on the many messages of the Gita. The main one being Karma Yogi. Let us focus on doing what we can to uplift the lives of others, and that is what the yajna stands for. So with those few words, we are going to begin our Havan this morning by reciting Om 3 times. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I think there's been an omission. May I invite Pandit Vedananji and Pandit Maitriji on stage, please. Maaf kijiye, Swamiji. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin this morning's procedure, let us bow our heads and observe a minute's silence for the passing away of our stalwart, Mr. P.R. Bogel, and also in memory of all of those that many of you have lost. We will begin this morning's yajna by reciting Om 3 times, followed by the Gayatri Mantra and the Ishwar Upasana. Bhargo
विश्वानि देवसवितर्दुरितानि परासु वा यद्भद्रन्तन्न आसु वा ॐ हिरण्यगर्भ समवर्तताग्रे भूतस्य जातः पतिर्वेक आसीत् सदा पृथिवीं व्याहुते मां कस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम ॐ य आत्मदा बलदायस्य विश्व उपासते प्रशिषं यस्य देवः यस्य छाया अमृतं यस्य मृत्युः तस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम ॐ यः प्राणतो निमिषतो महित्वैक इन्द्राजा जगतो बभूव यानिशे अस्य द्विपदश्चतुष्पदः कस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम ॐ येन द्यौरुग्रा पृथिवी चारिणा येन स्वासहितं येन नाकः यो अन्तरिक्षे रजसो विमानः कस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम ॐ प्रजापते न त्वदेतान्यो विश्वाजातानि परिता बभूव यत्कामास्ते जुहुमस्तनो अस्तु वयं स्याम पतयो रयीणाम् ॐ सानो बन्धुर्जनिता सविधाता धामानि वेद भुवनानि विश्वा यत्र देवा अमृतमानशानास्तृतीये धामन्नध्येरयन्तः ॐ अग्नेरय सुपथाराये अस्मान् विश्वानि देवप्रयुनानि विद्वान् यो यस्मश्चुराणमेनो भूयिष्ठान्ते नमः उक्तिं विधेम Ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to don the yajna pavit, which you have on your chairs behind you. Yajmans, you have your yajna pavit here. Kamalaji, there are yajna pavits on these chairs. Please pass them on to the others. Thank you. All right, you're going to hold it in your hands like this. Sure. And as I recite the mantra, you will put it over your left shoulder and under your right arm. All right? Om Yajñopavitam Paramam Pavitram Prajapatirya Sahajam Purastat Ayushyam Agrayam Pratimuncha Shubham Yajñopavitam Balamastu Tejaha. Om Yajñopavitamasi Yajñasya Tva Yajñopavitena Upanahayami. We begin with Asthami. Please take water in your right hand. Om Amrito Pasranamasi Swaha. Om Amrita Vihanamasi Swaha. Om Satyam Yasha Shrimai Shri Shayam Swaha. Reach your palms, take water in your left palms. Om Vangama Asyastu Om Nasorme Pranastu Om Akshnurme Chakshurastu Om Karnayorme Shudramastu Om Bhavorme Paramastu Om Gurvorma Ojoastu Om Harishtani Me Angani Tanustanvami Sahasantu. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Swadyariva Bhumna Prithvi Vavarina Tasyaste वर्धस्वचेदवर्धय चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसेनानायेन समेधय स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये जातवेदसे इदम् नमः ॐ समिधा अग्निं दुवस्य तद्विते बोधयतातिथिम् अस्मिन् हव्याजुहोतना ॐ सुसमिधाय शोचिषे द्वितं तीव्रं जुहोतना अग्नये जातवेदसे स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये जातवेदसे इदं नमः ॐ तन्त्वा समिधिरङ्गिरो घृतेन वर्धयामसि बृहचोषाय विश्य स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये नदीरसे इदं नमः ॐ अयन्तरिमहात्मा जातवेदसे नेभ्यस्ववर्धस्वचेदवर्धय चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसेनानायेन समेधय स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये जातवेदसे इदं नमः ॐ अयन्तरिमहात्मा जातवेदसे नेभ्यस्ववर्धस्वचेदवर्धय चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसेनानायेन समेधय स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये जातवेदसे इदं नमः ॐ अयन्तरिमहात्मा जातवेदसे नेभ्यस्ववर्धस्वचेदवर्धय चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसेनानायेन समेधय स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये जातवेदसे इदं नमः ॐ अयन्तरिमहात्मा जातवेदसे नेभ्यस्ववर्धस्वचेदवर्धय चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसेनानायेन समेधय स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये जातवेदसे इदं नमः ॐ अयन्तरिमहात्मा जातवेदसे नेभ्यस्ववर्धस्वचेदवर्धय चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसेनानायेन समेधय स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये जातवेदसे इदं नमः Jal Sejan from the east, west, north and all around, okay? East and west. ॐ अदितेन मन्यस्व ॐ हनुमतेन मन्यस्व ॐ सरस्वत्यै मन्यस्व ॐ देवसविता प्रसुभय च पतिं भगाय धियो गन्धर्वाः केतन्नः अग्नये स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये इदन्नमः ॐ सोमाय स्वाहा इदं सोमाय इदन्नमः ॐ प्रजापतये स्वाहा इदं प्रजापतये इदन्नमः ॐ इन्द्राय स्वाहा इदम् इन्द्राय इदन्नमः ॐ भूरग्नये स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये इदन्नमः ॐ भुवर्वायवे स्वाहा इदं वायवे इदन्नमः ॐ स्वरादित्याय स्वाहा इदम् आदित्याय इदन्नमः ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वरग्नि वायमादित्यभ्यः स्वाहा इदमग्नि वायमादित्यभ्यः इदन्नमः Switch to Greek Home Ahuti, take your sweets, please. ॐ यदस्य कर्मणो त्यरीरिचं यद्वान्यूनमिहाकरम् अग्निस्वस्विष्टकृद्विद्या सर्वं स्विष्टं सुहृतं करोतु मे अग्नये स्विष्टकृते सुहृताहुते सर्वप्रायश्चित्ताहुतीनां कामानां समर्दयित्रे सर्वानः कामान् समर्दय स्वाहा नमः ॐ स्वाहा इदं प्रजापतये इदन्नमः Samitri, you're looking at the time. ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः अग्नायुषीपवसा आसुवोजमिषं च नः आरे बाधस्वतुचुर्णां स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये कामनाय इदन्नमः ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः अग्निविषीः पवमानः पाञ्चजन्यः पुरोहितः तमीमहे महागयं स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये कामनाय इदन्नमः ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः अग्ने भवस्वास्वपा अस्मे वचः सुवीर्यं दधत्रयीं मयि पोषं स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये कामनाय इदन्नमः ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः प्रजापतेन त्वदेतान्यन्यो विश्वाजातानि परिता बभूव यत्कामास्ते जुहुमस्तनो अस्तु वयं स्याम पतयो रयीणां स्वाहा इदं प्रजापतये इदन्नमः ॐ त्वनो अग्ने वरुणस्य विद्वान् देवस्य हेरो अवयासि श्रेष्ठः यजिष्ठो वनितमः शोषुचानो विश्वाद्वेषांसि रमो यस्मात् स्वाहा इदम् अग्ने वर्णाभ्यामिदं नमः ॐ सत्वनो अग्ने अवमो भवोति निर्दिष्टो अस्य उषसो विष्णो अवयश्वनो वरुणं प्रयाणो वीतिं सुहवो न एति स्वाहा इदम् अग्ने वर्णाभ्यामिदं नमः ॐ इमं मे वरुणा श्रुति हवमन्यचामृडय त्वामवास्युराचके स्वाहा इदं वर्णाय इदं नमः ॐ तत्त्वायामि ब्रह्मणा वदमानास्तदा शास्ते यजमानो अविर्वृणि अयेरमानो वरुणेन ओद्युरुषं आयुः प्रमोषिणी स्वाहा इदं वर्णाय इदं नमः ॐ एते शतं वरुणा ये सहस्रं यज्ञया पाशा विदतामहन्तः तेभिर्नो अद्य सवितोत विष्णुर्विश्वे मुञ्चन्तु मरुतः स्वतः स्वाहा इदं वर्णाय सवित्रे विष्णवे विश्वेभ्यो देवेभ्यो मरुद्भ्यः स्वकेभ्यः इदं नमः ॐ अयाश्च अग्ने अस्यानभि षष्ठी पाश्च सत्यं विद्मयासि अयानो यज्ञं वहास्य यानो देहि देशजं स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये आयसे इदं नमः ॐ उदतमं वरुण पाशमस्दवाधमं विमध्यमं शताय अथा वयम् आदित्यव्रते तवानादसो हरितये स्याम स्वाहा इदं वर्णाय आदित्याय आदित्य च इदं नमः ॐ भगतं नः समनसो सचेतसा वरे पसो मायजं हिं शिष्टं मायच पतिं यातवेदसो शिवो भवद्भजनः स्वाहा इदं चातुर्वेदोऽज्ञामिदं नमः And we will now recite the Pratapati mantras and continue with the offering of Samagriyanti. Om Agni Vratapate Vratam Charishyami Tatte Pravravimi Tachakeyam Enarvyasam Vidam Aham Anvitat Satyam Upremi Swaha Idam Agnaye Idam Namah Om Vayo Vratapate Vratam Charishyami Tatte Pravravimi Tachakeyam Enarvyasam Vidam Aham Anvitat Satyam उपैमि स्वाहा इदं वायवे इदं नमः ॐ सूर्यव्रतपते व्रतं चरिष्यामि तत्ते प्रब्रवीमि तच्छकेयम् तेन व्यासम् इदम् अहम् अन्वितात् सत्यम् उपैमि स्वाहा इदं सूर्याय इदं नमः ॐ चन्द्रव्रतपते व्रतं चरिष्यामि तत्ते प्रब्रवीमि तच्छकेयम् तेन व्यासम् इदम् अहम् अन्विता सत्यम् उपैमि स्वाहा इदं चन्द्राय इदं नमः ॐ व्रतानां व्रतपते व्रतं चरिष्यामि तत्ते प्रब्रवीमि तच्छकेयम् तेन व्यासम् इदम् अहम् अन्विता सत्यम् उपैमि स्वाहा इदं इन्द्राय व्रतपतये इदं नमः ॐ सूर्यो ज्योतिर्ज्योतिः सूर्यः स्वाहा ॐ सूर्यो वर्षो ज्योतिर्वर्षः स्वाहा ॐ ज्योतिः सूर्यः सूर्यो ज्योतिः स्वाहा ॐ सजुर्देवेन सविता सजुरुषसेन्द्रवद्या जुषानः सूर्यो वेदो स्वाहा ॐ अग्निर्ज्योतिर्ज्योतिरग्निः स्वाहा ॐ अग्निर्वर्चो ज्योतिर्वर्चः स्वाहा ॐ स्वाहा ॐ सजुर्देवेन सविता सजुरात्रिर्भवत्या जुषानो अग्निर्वेदो स्वाहा ॐ भूरग्नये प्राणाय स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये प्राणाय इदं नमः ॐ भूगर्भायवे अपानाय स्वाहा इदं वायवे अपानाय इदं नमः ॐ स्वर्णादित्याय ज्ञानाय स्वाहा इदम् आदित्याय ज्ञानाय इदं नमः ॐ भूर्भुवस्वरनि वायवादित्यभ्यः प्राणापानव्यानेभ्यः स्वाहा इदमग्निवायवादित्यभ्यः प्राणापानव्यानेभ्यः इदं नमः ॐ आपो ज्योतिरसो अमित्रं ब्रह्मा भूर्भुवः स्वरों स्वाहा ॐ यामेनां भद्रं तन्न आसुः स्वाहा ॐ अग्नेय सुपथाराय अस्मान् विश्वानि देववयुनानि विद्वान् यो यो यस्मज्जुहोरानमेनो भूरिष्ठान्ते नम उक्तिं विधेम स्वाहा ॐ सर्वं परिपूर्णं स्वाहा ॐ सर्वं परिपूर्णं स्वाहा ॐ सर्वं परिपूर्णं स्वाहा ॐ वसो पवित्रमसि शतधारं वसो पवित्रमसि सहस्रधारं देवस्त्वा सविता पुनातु वसो पवित्रेण शतधारेण सुखा कामदोषः
Now we'll ask Mr. Budin and Mr. Lakshman who will lead us to Prabhu and be surprised us with their rapture song. The Lakshmans will now take our seats.
कर तू अभिमान, मत कर तू अभिमान रे बंदे, झूठी तेरी शान रे, मत कर तू अभिमान, मत कर तू अभिमान रे बंदे, झूठी तेरी शान रे, मत कर तू अभिमान। तेरे जैसा लाखों आया, तेरे जैसा लाखों आया, लाखों इस माटी ने खाया, तेरे जैसा लाखों आया, लाखों इस माटी ने खाया, रहना नाम निशान रे बंदे, मत कर तू अभिमान, मत कर तू अभिमान रे बंदे, झूठी तेरी शान रे, मत कर तू अभिमान। माया का अंधकार निराला, माया का अंधकार निराला, बाहर उजला भीतर काला, माया का अंधकार निराला, बाहर उजला भीतर काला, इसको तू पहचान रे बंदे, मत कर तू अभिमान, मत कर तू अभिमान रे बंदे, झूठी तेरी शान रे, मत कर तू अभिमान। तेरे पास है हीरे मोती, तेरे पास है हीरे मोती, मेरे मन मंदिर में ज्योति, तेरे पास है हीरे मोती, मेरे मन मंदिर में ज्योति, कौन हुआ धनवान रे बंदे, मत कर तू अभिमान, मत कर तू अभिमान रे बंदे, झूठी तेरी शान रे, मत कर तू अभिमान, मत कर तू अभिमान, मत कर तू
you for that inspiring bhajan. And also thank you, Pandita Aarti Shannon, for the soul uplifting hour. Now I introduce our speaker. In every man's life, there comes a time when he is full of despair and does not know which way to turn. He is unable to decide what he should or shouldn't do. On this occasion, we have a young man, Mr. Akshay Singh. He has obtained a degree in economic finance, and a postgrad degree in finance. Presently, he is employed as a financial advisor at the Old Mutual, a young man who has been in the fold of the Arya Samaj for more than 15 years. He will now share his ideas on the teaching regarding handling of life's dilemma. Over to you, Mr.
Namaste everyone, as you heard Akshay say, and I'm humbled to be allowed to take the stage, and in keeping with the theme of my address, I couldn't wait when such an opportunity was in front of me. I take great pleasure in taking on such opportunities as I feel them to be potential for great personal growth and to research and present the topics that I hold close to my heart. I chose the theme of duty and responsibility to discuss as an aging youth member that has gained great value and knowledge and working within various affiliates within the Arya Samaj. It is difficult to separate the Gita from a conversation around Krishna and Krishna Janmashtami. And however, with my lack of deep scriptural knowledge, I prefer to focus on the area of youth and youth taking on responsibility. A recurrent theme from the Gita that I hold dear is that of responsibility, and as we grow older and have more autonomy in life, we have a bit of extra freedom that comes with overwhelming responsibility. Our personal battles may not be directly comparable to war and fighting in Kurukshetra, but we have our own mental Kurukshetra every day. So before getting on to the core topic of responsibility, I would like to touch on an area which is sometimes overlooked, being the mental health of youth. I see growing levels of stress and mental health concerns in youth at younger and younger ages. This generally contradicts the assumption that youth would prefer to be better off with better lifestyles and better financial positions than that of our parents and grandparents. Because of the hard work and sacrifices of previous generations, one can only assume life and choices will be simpler and easier for modern youth. However, the problem of every generation is generally relative to them, and it's difficult to compare struggles across different generations because it's separated by decades in time. Working with youth personally, I noticed the vast opportunities and choices they have compared to that of their parents. Previous generations generally did not have the luxuries of time, expensive educations, and very profitable family businesses. The mental pressures that come with these options generally go under the radar. From a young age, children are expected to compete in highly competitive academic worlds, choosing schools, extracurricular activities, career path, amongst other life-altering decisions that come with the territory of the modern-day scholar. Then the teenager must work towards this, possibly questioning decisions into the mid-20s while choosing a path and a campus in their tertiary education, or maybe even taking a year off, then planning a career path of least resistance. Our parents worked extremely hard and sacrificed immensely in order to open every door and every opportunity they could. Whether the drive is towards not disappointing our parents or simply pushing towards our best possible life, which is difficult to define, youth seem to experience unprecedented challenges. With these overwhelming options in front of us, many youth are simply giving up, taking on bad habits which are increasingly accessible, or rebel against the very parents that worked hard for the better life of their kids. And in the very extreme cases, it's the worst possible outcome. We think about these countless opportunities and focus on the countless ways we could fail. Because of the great start we have been given, we see the ground far below us and focus on how hard we can fall, rather than how far our families have brought us. The truth is, we see the growth as a starting point in a precarious positioning on walking a tightrope, as opposed to being on solid ground, much closer to the finish line than our parents had to start from. These problems can be likened to the various inner thoughts of Arjuna, which is a character that I think most of us can relate to. Like Arjuna on the battlefield, our thoughts are always considering the easier option, whether it's in line with our respective duties or not. Specifically with youth, we have the tendency to play it safe because of the comfort zone we are provided that previous generations only jumped off. Now, youth almost always have a safe option to just refuse opportunities and avoid failure by either not starting or just not participating at all. I hear great stories of people in this very room facing and overcoming great adversities simply because there was no comfort zone and there was no safety net. For me, a great evil is the effect of complacency that I notice amongst youth. We notice that there's a pattern of avoiding and delaying responsibilities for as long as possible or altogether. We are not all Arjuna with a guide of holding our hand and opening our eyes to the results of various choices we have in front of us. We generally learn by making mistakes and facing experiences directly. So on this auspicious day, it is a great time to learn from the teachings of Krishna and embrace responsibility and duty. What can we do to inspire the mindsets channeled towards taking on responsibilities and facing our personal duties? For one, I think we can be kinder to one another. Value and attempt the learning opportunity rather than focus the pain of potential failure. Help each other out or seek help. Put our ambitions into the universe and then witness support either directly or simply from a supportive attitude. With youth specifically, I urge you to take on challenges that you have been contemplating or actively working towards your dreams by creating small steps and goals along the way. We need to be more active in our actions. We must grab the baton and move forward from the great start we have been blessed with from our parents. If you are unsure about where our passion lies, we will not be inspired from our comfort zones. Come to events like this, request to be a part of the event, join the various affiliations and allow yourself to gain exposure and experience to make your decisions more calculated. I am a big fan of using auspicious days as starting points for positive changes. To use dates as sticking a flag in the ground as an annual reminder of new goals and ambitions to work towards. For youth, it can be a day where we grow, we get more involved with our respective passions. The Samaj has great affiliates, and a great deal of work is being done within every affiliate. We can only grow and with experience, but we can only experience when we leave our comfort zones. My personal starting point was my dad forcing me to the APS youth camp held at the ABH. The teams did a great work in making it a valuable experience and creating a safe learning environment. For me, this is what kickstarted my passion to work closely within the APS and now directly within the HEAL affiliation, as I realized personally my passion lies in server work. Everyone will develop their own roles and take their own personal responsibilities from their starting points. From this personal experience, I would also like to urge our seniors to actively work on bringing their future generations into these events and inspire them with their actions to also take on roles within the Samaj. The simple act of actively participating and joining programs like this can be the spark that creates a fire in your personal journey of growth. We have a great support structure at the Samaj where we have platforms and resources to work within and a wealth of experience from seniors. As youth, we should voice our wishes and ambitions and work together with the seniors to develop ourselves and projects within the 10 principles. For my final thoughts, my wish is to simply inspire activity and action in youth. I would love to see younger individuals on platforms such as the one I am standing on right now. I only hope that someone is inspired to actively work towards fulfilling their responsibility and taking on their respective duties in the many roles we play today. Namaste and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Akshay Singh, on enlightening us on dealing with the uncertainties of and for giving us possibilities that we can practice in our lives. And now we have the awarding of certificates. The Ved Niketan, a standing committee of the Arya Samaj, carries out examinations on the series of books on teachings of Hinduism, written by Pandit Nardev Vedalanka. There are 5 levels of the exam. This year, 3 students have written the Dharma Praveen exam and have been successful. The registrar, Mr. C. Devi Prasad, will now present these candidates with the certificates. I call upon Mr. Devi Prasad. to hand out the certificates to Pandit Aarti Shannon. And Pandit Dilip Kumar Harichand Arjun. Congratulations to all of you, and look forward to presenting certificates after you have completed the Dharma Prabhakara exams. Now we move over to the vote of thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, my prem namaste to you all. The Adi Samaj SA is beholden to the following people for the support and assistance received in making today's function successful. Firstly, we are honored to have been graced by the presence of our dear Swamijis. Swami is from Sannyas Mandal of the Adi Samaj South Africa. Pujya Swami Vedanand Saraswati and Pujya Swami Maitriye. Our sincere thanks go to Pandit Aarti Shannon for conducting the Havan in a very dignified manner. A special thanks to Akshay Singh for his talk on Krishna Asthami. To all our Yajmans, thank you for participating in today's Krishna Asthami Havan. We really appreciate your presence. To Bhaiji Deepla Bhadan for the beautiful rendition of soul-stirring bhajans, and to Bhai Rajesh Lakshman. This certainly uplifted our spirits. A big thank you to you. We also would like to thank Rajesh Bhai for assisting us with setting up the sound for the program. We express our sincere gratitude to Sanjay Bhai Patanil for his contribution towards the meals. May you continue to be blessed for your kindness. Today's meals were sponsored in memory of his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Kasipasad Patanil. We must acknowledge and thank those who work behind the scenes to ensure the success of our function today. To our APS staff, Lekha Jadu, Ishendri Maraj, Cynthia Zulu, and Sipo Mabatso, a big thank you to you. We also like to express our profound gratitude to our new PRO, Pandit Reshma Rambaros, for her untiring efforts in seeing to the smooth running of today's function, and to all the volunteers. Finally, I'd like to thank all of you present attending today's function. If I have omitted anyone, please accept my humble apologies, as it was not intentional. Know that sincere gratitude go to you all as well. Aarti will be conducted now by, the Aarti will be sung now by Bhai Lakshman and Bhai Bandhan. Thank you.
We've got a very special announcement. It's Mr. Batui's birthday. So we're going to sing the happy birthday. While we're doing that, Swamiji will bestow his blessing. So we will all join in, sing this very popular birthday song that I have. बार बार दिन ये आए, 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 to you. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much for that. Just for your information, Shri Benji has celebrated at 86 birthday. She's been a member of the Arya Samaj ever since I can remember. And she's telling me it's a long before that. Yes, she's been a stalwart of the Arya Samaj. Thank you so much.
There was a request also for us to sing the Raksha Bandhan song. So, can we have permission to do that? बंधा हुआ एक धागे में भाई बहन का प्यार राखी भागो का त्योहार राखी भागो का त्योहार बंधा हुआ एक धागे में भाई बहन का प्यार राखी भागो का त्योहार राखी भागो का त्योहार कितना कोमल कितना सुंदर भाई बहन का नाता इस नाते को याद दिलाए ये त्योहार है आता बहन की मन की आशा है राखी का ये तार राखी भागो का त्योहार राखी भागो का त्योहार बंधा हुआ एक धागे में भाई बहन का प्यार राखी भागो का त्योहार राखी भागो का त्योहार ओ राखी भागो का त्योहार Thank you. Om Jai Jagadish Hare Swami Jai Jagadish Hare भक्त जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे ओम जय जगदीश हरे जो ध्यावे फल पावे दुख विषय विकार मिटाओ, पाप हरो देवा। स्वामी पाप हरो देवा। श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ, श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ, संतन की सेवा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, ओम जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे। भक्त जनों के संकट, भक्त जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
Now I call upon Pandit Arti Shannon to conclude with a mealtime prayer and Shanti Path.
Please bow our heads in prayer. Om Annapate Anasya No Nivasya Shushmina Pradataram Tarisha Urjanno Dehi Dvipade Chatushpade. Shanti Path. Om Shantirantharisham Shanti Prithvi Shantirapa Shantiroshadaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shantirvishwe Devah Shantirbrahma Shanti Sarvam Shanti Shantireva Shanti Sama Shantiredi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste and thank you. And please join us for lunch thereafter. Thank you.
Thank you to all our participants that have joined us this morning.
Namaste, all our participants. Thank you for joining. We have come to the end of our program. Prasad and lunch will be served in the foyer. Then namaste to everyone. We wish you a peaceful and safe journey back home.
Thank you to our participants for being with us this morning and spending the time with us for Krishna Asthami. We will definitely be meeting with you next week at 9 o'clock for our regular Sunday satsang. Namaste to you. Thank you.
Namaste, Kiran Bhai.
Namaste Chandra Ben. Thanks for coming on.
No, I enjoyed it.
You enjoy the function.
Yes, lovely function.
Thank you.
I wish I was there.
We'll meet you all at 9 o'clock next week, Sunday. Thank you. All the best. Stay safe.